Hey, what's up? I'm Guy.
I'm John.
This is our YouTube channel. Subscribe to this channel. Give this video a like.
Check out the podcast below in the description.
All right, John. Do you know there are two games in the NFL that this weekend, as of the recording of this video, are 7-point lines? Those actually are the biggest lines in the league this week. Do you know? Could you guess what those two games are?
Well, I can because as you said that, I had mybookie.ag, promo code HAM1, pulled up, and I was looking at the other game, which is the Dolphins-Jets game.
Dolphins-Jets, Rams-Niners. Those are the two big spreads in the league on Sunday.
I think if the Dolphins, let's say, had looked really good and they had beat the Broncos by 10 points, that line's 10, not 7.
Yeah.
Like, part of that being 7 is I think people go, whoa, what's up with the Dolphins? Like, are they actually kind of not as good as we thought? That line, but I actually don't even feel great about the Dolphins in that line. To me, the Niner one feels about right.
Comfortable. You would feel comfortable with the Rams on that one. Even though the Niners have had success against them. The Niners are off a bye. I think it's easy to forget Mullins, that like what their team look now. Get some guys back, right? But I think it's easy to forget what doesn't matter who you have back if your quarterback's not good enough. And the one thing we've seen is the Rams, after this, like, oh, what are the Rams going to do? They're a playoff team, and they're good. They could still win the division. They're 7-3.
I think if you go, well, the Niners are coming off a bye.
7-3, John, unless you're the Browns.
To me, it's pretty crazy. Niners coming off a bye, not just a short week on the road across the country. So think about what time they got back. Tuesday, even the coaches are probably getting ready for Tampa. They're probably in, la land. It's hard, no sleep on the plane. That's a huge advantage for the Niners. Yet the line, it's like, that feels like lucky to be at 7. Right? Because like you said, Mullins, we'll, I guess, find out this week if Richard Sherman comes back. The problem, Guy, is I watch the Rams. Those wide receivers are awesome. I mean, all their guys get open with ease. Woods, Kupp, Van Jefferson, the rookie, the tight ends.
Higsby.
It's just if Goff just plays under control, doesn't it feel like they can move it on anybody? They feel a little bit like this is going to sound like a shot. I don't mean it like this, but like when Leach had Texas Tech and Washington State, like when they're just on and they're just going 5 wides, like I don't know where it's going, but it's going to be completed. That's when they really start rolling like that. It can feel like that. And the problem, the way to get with Goff is to rush him and throw him off. Well, right now the Niners aren't really doing that.
No, and I think the other thing,
if he has time, he can pick you apart a little bit like an air raid quarterback, because he is an air raid quarterback. I mean, even though he didn't choose to be an air raid quarterback, was forced into it, but he thrived as an air raid quarterback.
I think the other math that we do right before the bye, the math was how do you make the playoffs if you're the Niners? Can you win the last game? Can you beat the Saints? Can you be 5-5? Can you then, win some of these games head to head? This would have been a big one. Fight your way back in and be a wild card team. Now, I think that because the math is just really not in their favor at all, and their team is not ready to make a run. Now it's about, I think in part, where are you going to draft? And part of that is what's your range in terms of how close you are, what you would need to do in order to get a quarterback, right? How many moves do you have to – are you drafting 16th where you got to do a couple things, or are you drafting 12th where you could get to 8 pretty easily or something like that? And right now you've got a bunch of teams like I mentioned it, the NFC East is a mess. Like all those – you could have a team in the playoffs. Well, I guess they wouldn't draft. Would the Eagles draft ahead of the Niners if they have less wins but made the playoffs?
No. They would be the first team. If they lost, they'd be the first team. Because think about last year, the Eagles got in the playoffs like 7-8-1, and they drafted, at the end of the first round. Remember?
Yeah.
The end of the lottery. Yeah.
I would if I'm a 6-win NFC East champ, I'd rather just miss the playoffs. But anyway,
yes,
that's a different thing. But now we just, we did this with the Bosa year. Like, how high are you going to draft? And you were very adamant. Don't win games that hurt you. Now, I wouldn't expect any coach to coach that way. But
Guy, I'm looking at the standings right now. Every team in the NFC East has a negative point differential. Every team except the Packers in the NFC North, the Bears, Vikings, and Detroit, have a negative point differential. The NFC West, obviously the 3 good teams, the Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals, all over 30 plus. A couple are basically 50. The Niners, and this speaks to like the Niners, Like, they beat the Rams, and they didn't just beat the Rams. They kind of, remember that game? They kind of shoved them around. They were in complete control. Little different. If memory serves me correct, Jimmy Garoppolo played in that game. That's why it's just, they beat them 3 straight times, right? Because they swept them last year. They beat them this year when they were just kind of, against the ropes at the time, and it kind of saved their season for a minute before Jimmy got hurt again. I do think Kyle can have some shit, just a little like Andy Reid. I just think great offensive coaches, Sean Payton, Sean McVay, it's much easier for them to pull a play that you have no clues coming, than it is either easier for a defensive coach, like even Belichick. What are you going to do? Like some exotic blitz no one's seen? If they call the right play against it, it might not even matter. But an offensive play, if you've had that extra 2 weeks, like, it does make an advantage. Like, it wouldn't shock me if early in the second quarter the Niners are up like 10-7 or whatever. I just think over the period of a game when Nick Mullins your quarterback, maybe they are able to cover the point spread, but I just don't see how they win. I just can't, because it just gets back to Nick doesn't have four. He doesn't have 4 quarters in him. He has a drive or two, or even a half. But how does he not throw a pick to Jalen Ramsey or get to me, he's got like a strip sack fumble touchdown to like Donald and Brockers.
Yep.
That's to me what it feels like. And a couple years ago when I was big team tank, and we argued over it a little bit, and it was a kind of a controversial take, not just mine, but whatever side you took for the Niners, because the Niners had sucked for so long and people were tired of it. And I get it. I think this one, it's easier now. We just saw it last year. We go, okay, when Kyle has the bullets in his gun, like, we can beat anybody.
Right.
Now it's like we've been dealt this hand of just injury. Not like corona injuries, like legitimately dudes just get hurt. K'Wan Williams, I look at my phone yesterday, it's like he just got popped for PEDs. And then I saw someone tweet, well, it doesn't even matter. He wasn't going to be healthy the next 2 games anyway. Like, that's where they are.
I don't blame him. If my whole locker room was dropping like flies, I'd be like, Doc,
yeah,
what do you
no
got?
shit. I don't blame him
Tony
either.
Bosch.
Well, exactly. I just don't you think this year the casual fan understands, like, it's better these last 6 or 7 games probably to lose them all, and it's not even an indictment on anyone.
No,
after going
yes.
through everything everyone went through.
We agree.
If they
this
lost
time.
out, I don't even think Kyle would get shit.
Especially because of where they are in like the arc of the Kyle Shanahan timeline. It's clearly time to just reload your talent.
If I told you they lost out and had like the 6th pick, sitting here November 25th, would you put them at like 80% taking a quarterback really high, or still be up in the air?
I just don't know what Kyle. I mean, I would think, but I just don't know. I
don't either. I wouldn't put it that high either. That's what's crazy.
No, when I talk about quarterback picks, like
if you told me they drafted Penei Sewell or something, I'd believe you.
Yeah,
which would be a good pick.
I think any Niner fan watching this that hates watching a team lose goes, it's clear watching this team they need more talent. They need more good players. So fine.
I think it's easier to justify. I would not be saying the same thing if Jimmy Garoppolo was playing. It's much easier when you go, well, he's basically out for the season. There is no point at this time. Like, you don't get any extra credit winning games with Nick Mullins. It's irrelevant.
No. But to your point on the division, where in all likelihood it will be a 3 playoff team division, not only does the whole division, including the Niners, have a positive point differential.
The Vikings really fucked themselves losing that game to the Bears. Huh? They would have been right in the mix.
Yes, they would. But not only does everybody have a positive point differential, there's not another division that has, forget about one team, only one team with a negative point differential. There's not another division that has less than 2. Everybody else has at least 2 teams with a negative point differential, and the Niners have 0.
It's pretty crazy.
So I actually think, now we'll see how the rest of the year plays out.
That's it. That's in the league, not even just the NFC.
That's in the whole league.
Yeah.
And it's like not even some of these. It's there's not a lot of like -3 point differential.
I don't know what the record is, but I'd imagine the Jets have a chance at the record, right? They're -153. There's not a team. The next closest is the Jags at 96. God, the Steelers are +124. I guess that's what happens when you win every game, right?
By the way, look at the Browns, -3. -23, sorry.
See, they don't blow anyone out. That shows you that, right?
But I think we should also make note of what we think of this team today. before their post-bye part of the schedule. I don't know what it's going to turn into, and I think it's better if they win 4 games, don't win a game the rest of the year. That would suck to watch, but it would be worth the pain. But they're 4-6 right now, and I do think they deserve some credit for everything we just said, like being just in the position they're in.
That's what I'm saying, Guy. Yeah. I expect them to lose, and I think losing is going to be the right thing to do Sunday. I don't really expect them to get blown out. Like I'd be surprised if you told me the score is like 35-7.
Yeah,
I would expect if you told me the Niners have a lead at half. I actually might look into that. Like, what's their first half line?
I like it.